Friends, good evening, and welcome to another edition of SPTV News Live, this being the nighttime edition. Normally, we do the Q&A here on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Currently, it's 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you might have noticed that we missed that. Friends, there's a lot going on behind the scenes over the next couple days, so we had to reschedule that for tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat place. So 8 p.m. is where we do 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday is where we'll do the usual Q&A where you can answer any questions. I take up comments that come up during the week, and we let our hair down and chill out. So that's tomorrow. Some people asked on the previous video, what the fuck? So that's been rescheduled. Dazed After Dark, Monday Night Live. And what we're covering today is the email that I got from the lovely Mary Jane when 5 days ago, Joni, who is an ex-Scientologist that you can see here, and me, we did an unexpected prank call on the seat of our pants to a Scientologist. And I don't know if everybody's seen the video or not. We have new people coming in all the time, so I'm not going to bore you with the full video, but I do want to at least play the last 5 minutes, and then I'm going to show you the response. And there's a reason for doing this. In fact, this clicked off a lot of ideas in my head, and I'll have to talk with Joni about this. But there's many ways to not just prank call them or make fun of them, like, kind of happened in this conversation, but actually to engage them, maybe deprogram them, maybe ask them about their life. And there's many different avenues to go because it never occurred to me until this accident that you can actually engage with a Scientologist and talk to them. That's the hardest part. You can never actually engage with them, especially if they know you're a suppressive person. But let me play the last 5 minutes. You can see it gets intense where she asked me why I give a fake name, why the phone number that I called on was blocked, etc. But let this be some insight into the people that say, that would never happen to me. I mean, if you know about Scientology, granted, okay? But if you watch that phone call and how smooth this chick is and how believing she is and knowledgeable about what she's trying to sell, I'm a suppressive person, man. I've been out for like 18 years and I, was playing the role, but I could feel myself getting sucked back in because she was being very rational. So you'll see I'm going to link that video in the description box. If you haven't seen it, you can see the intensity of the conversation and you can see the sales tactics. And then I'm also going to show you what she sent to me, the email, which was quite terrifying. I never received an email that seemed so kind of booby trapped and threatening, shall we say. But let me go ahead and play this video for you, at least the last 5 minutes, so you can get some context before we go more into this. Okay, so here we go, guys.
So then honestly, the best way to start, you could get the Dianetics book. Your number comes through. I was going to text you some more information or something, but your number is coming through as blocked.
Yeah, because I don't know. I was scared to contact you, to be honest with you. Like I said, because I wanted to feel you out and know what the hell I'm getting into. Because like I told you, the contradiction I'm having is the rumors that I heard in LA living around here versus the video that I just saw, which I really liked, and I was kind of taken aback from it. And I don't know what the hell that has to do with Xenu and all this other crap that I heard.
Yeah, I understand. Well, here's what we should do. If you're willing to get a book, we can start with that. I can even send you free information. Like for me to you personally, I don't have to put you don't automatically get put on like a mailing list or something if you request. I'm
a little terrified of that because I heard that once you get on a Scientology mailing list, you can never get off. Maybe I can hold off on that.
There's a lot of things, Ryan.
Well, I don't know. I know. It's probably not true, but
here's the thing.
I still want to be cautious.
Any mailing list. Because, we're not here to like stalk people or something like that. We're here to help them. The word Scientology is the study of knowledge or knowing how to know, right? Like we're here to help people improve their lives. That's what a Scientologist is somebody that uses the knowledge to help themselves and help other people, right?
Right.
So, how I can help you, I can send you information from me to you. I can email it, text you. I can send you something in the mail if you want to check it out. I feel like you might.
I can give you an email address. I'd feel more comfortable about that.
Okay. Yeah,
Because what I'm going to do, and tell me if this is the correct path. I want to know more about Dianetics because that's what I just watched, and I don't know anything about the spiritual aspects of Scientology. I don't know how I feel about that, but I really like the psychotherapy that I just saw in the video. So why don't I get the book? I'll give you my email address so we can keep in touch. And then can I contact you again or vice versa after I actually read the book? Like, am I going to understand how to do that auditing that I just saw in the video?
Yeah, here, I can send you a link where you can order the book. You can even, like,
awesome.
I've had some, like, if you want to, you can even ship the book to a P.O. box. I'm going to send you a link so you can order that. I don't know if you've been Ryan Sanders is your real name, to be totally honest.
Why would you say that?
Well, because you said you were scared to give your phone number, so I was going to say that I'm just trying to give you the answers and the knowledge. You can use whatever address you want. It doesn't matter. We're not here to, like, do anything else other than give you that knowledge. And you can tell me, because I'll have your email address. If you use that same email address when you order the book, I can even put it down that you don't want to receive any physical mail at all, like not even like a receipt.
Okay. How about I give you my legitimate email address? That's all I feel comfortable giving out right now without knowing more about the organization. I know where to
send you a sample of the beginning of the book. How about that?
Sure. Oh, fucking A. Yeah. That's a perfect place to start.
And then is your name actually Ryan? At least your first name? Or just use Ryan? Will you like respond to that?
Yeah. Yes, I will. That's all I'm going to say.
You're funny.
I'll give you my real email address though. You'll see this is going to go through. And you'll get my real name too. dbncdoug@gmail.com.
So Delta Bravo Nancy Charlie Delta October Umbrella George @gmail.com.
Holy shit! You just confused me even more than I thought that was going to be.
I'm sorry. So
I could do the first four.
Do you like David?
Mm-hmm.
B as in boy.
Yep.
N as in Nancy.
Yep.
C as in Charlie. And then Doug, DOUG @gmail.com.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't trying to be confused.
Just to repeat that back to you, that's D as in Doug, my real name, B as in butt, N as in Nancy, and C as in confused.
Okay, great words.
But not to be confused if I can get on this Dianetics shit. So please send me that. I'll take a look at it, and then then you can contact me or vice versa.
My name is Mary Jane.
Oh, shit. I just wanted to say something here real quick, guys. Like, disclaimer, I'm not encouraging anybody to do this, man. I felt like shit after doing this, especially since I was in this trap that she's in. She clearly believes what she's saying. She thinks she has a hook on the line, and it's just really sad actually listening to her. But again, with a different approach, I think there's a way to do it without making fun of them and actually trying to do something effective. We shall see. I've been brainstorming some ideas. We might be onto something here. Okay, how do I know that's your real name? Mary. See, it's a two-way flow, as they say in Scientology, right? I just learned that term today. Okay. You cannot be named Mary Jane and be a Scientologist. Aren't you guys against drugs? Mary Jane? Is that your name is really Mary Jane?
So you're going to see it coming from me.
From literally Mary Jane. This is the email that I'm going to show you that she actually did send me, proving that she believes it and that she didn't suss me before checking out all the information as much as I would give her. Again, God bless her, man.
What?
I'm going to see it coming from Mary Jane.
Yep, that's it.
Fucking A, man. This call was meant to be on more levels than you know. But Scientology is going to get me off smoking weed. I know it. By the way, guys, maybe we will break down this video or future ones, and there's so much to actually say about this, but I already know what her program response is going to be, so I just tossed her the, the bone of like, how do you handle drugs? I'm a pot smoker, and she goes right into a pre-programmed diatribe, and this is exactly what I would tell my friends when the subject of drugs came up.
Do you smoke every day?
No, just once in a while, but I know that Scientology is anti-drugs, but I can confront that, as you say. I can overcome that. It's not that big of a deal if there's a reason to.
Yeah, there's a way. I mean, if you're on medical marijuana, that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, I am. But I'm not on it. I just smoke once in a while. Yeah, it's not even a big deal. It's something I could give up, but I know that I can't do Dianetics while smoking weed. Believe me, I caught that in the video. Is there any way to, do you have a stoner version of Dianetics? Wouldn't the weed allow you to get more into the subconscious and access the engrams, though? I guess it's a no-no, though, in Dianetics, right?
Here's the thing, is that like a
Talk about keeping your TRs in. I mean, I'm obviously kind of fucking with her. I wanted to talk more about their drug philosophy, and she keeps her frickin' TRs in. That means her concentration and her focus, and carries right on with the pitch, even though as a Scientologist, especially a Sea Org member at Bridge Publications like Mary Jane is, she just had a fucking heart attack when she heard those words come out of my mouth, just like I did whenever my friends in Hollywood were doing the oh so evil thing of smoking weed. Allow you to get more into the subconscious and access the engrams, though? I guess it's a no-no, though, in Dianetics, right?
Here's the thing, is that like a drug I can send you even as a short free online video and study course. Like it's a short free online course called Answers to Drugs. It explains the effects of drugs.
Answers to Drugs.
They can like scramble your memories a little bit and the time and confuse the present with the past and have like illusions. So if you're trying to do Dianetics and you're high, you're not really going to be able to erase the engram. It's the basic data. Like you don't want to do that because it could screw up a little bit. So,
does being high install the engrams?
It can.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it like if a person is under anesthetics or something like that in a surgery, right? The drugs, the pain, the unconsciousness is all part of the engram. Like
that makes sense.
Drugs are part of it. To whatever degree it makes you less conscious.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's part of an engram is the state of consciousness.
Yeah, unconsciousness, which I just saw in the video.
I'm send you some more videos.
Okay, send me whatever you got, please.
It was nice.
She did send these to me, by the way, and we'll go over this.
I'm glad you're looking into this for yourself. And if,
You too.
You know, you like what you see there. Again, I'll just send you a link to order the book if you feel comfortable with that. It's not going to be scary, I promise.
Okay.
I'll help you.
Why would she feel that it is the need to say it's not going to be scary and this and that? They must get so many prank calls that they're always on edge if this is real or not. You will earn my trust, Mary Jane, just like the herb itself named Mary Jane had to earn my trust. I'm just kidding. I'll give it up for Scientology. Just let me see what you guys got.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Well, thanks for the call, Doug. It was
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you.
You as well, Mary. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, that's the end of the conversation. Just wanted to give enough pretext to go into this other stuff. Sorry if you've already seen it, but let me show you why this is important or why I wanted to do a video on this. Because let me pull this over here so you can see it. These are some of the comments that, you know, made some astute points. I know it looks ridiculous from the outside if you guys already know all about it, but imagine getting onto a phone call, you know, after just watching a Dianetics video and you have the pitch that the oh so sweet Mary Jane just gave. Do you guys agree with this? This is what Megas Alexandros posted. She's very good listening to the call. I can see that she would be successful at conversions. She seemed to say all the right things in the right soothing, caring, and sincere manner. I would say Mega, not least because she herself is convinced, and they can be very convincing when they're convinced themselves that they have the answers to the universe. The claimed benefits would massively spike any caller's interest. She's good at her job. And I'll show you too what she actually sent me. The videos are quite interesting as well and could be persuasive if you don't know that Dianetics is connected to Scientology, for example. I can see part 2 of this being an episode of what they sent you. My guess is flashy emails and video clips that in their unique way promise to be life-changing in typical Scientology fashion, material that overpromises yet very much under-delivers. Really well said, Mega. Exactly. Clearly, we have a Scientology expert in the house because that's exactly what they do. Taxium Universum says, imagine if someone had such a call from for real and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on crossing the bridge to total freedom, only in the end to find out that South Park was correct. And Mega says, yes, it has happened. That's the point, man. I mean, unless you know about it, this shit actually does happen. And they use Dianetics, by the way, as a cover because Scientology has such bad public relations. They hide Dianetics so that they can snow X amount of people that won't make the connection. For example, my dad, as we talked about in the channel, he saw an ad in the newspaper that said Dianetics, learn how to handle your family problems better, learn how to communicate. Those are the buttons that they press in the ad. And he had no idea it was Scientology. It didn't say Scientology on the Ventura mission that he went down to later that day. And he didn't find out it was Scientology until he was well indoctrinated on day fucking one. So I just wanted to let you know that I know it looks ludicrous from the outside, my friends, but this does happen to people, man. So let this be a warning, or at least a preview as to how they actually sell you and shit. One more here. What I really want to know is if she actually sent you the sample material to that email, or if they're on to you already. Remarkably, they were not on to me already. And here's the terrifying email that I got. I mean, I've never seen an email like this before. This was, Mary Jane told me that it was going to be in my spam box, make sure you check that. She didn't warn me that it's going to come with all this. I mean, talk about, even if she did make the sale just there and I really was interested, just look at all the gibberish on this email alone that would probably make you not click on the links. I had to copy and paste them as it is because you're going to see this as a phishing email. So you guys can see that, right? So this is what she sent over, man, after probably checking all the files and shit and trying to put the email address together and everything. I'm sure she knows now what's going on. I have certain things blocked out because her name's Mary Jane, but I don't want to give her last name. I want to respect her privacy. I just want to show you the pertinent information of what they sent. So this message seems dangerous. Similar messages were used to steal people's personal information. Avoid clicking links, downloading attachments, or replying with personal information. Then I have to click that it looks safe. Hell no, I'm not clicking that. So this is what the lovely Mary Jane sent me. Dear Doug, thank you for prank calling in. Thank you for calling in. I would like to share some videos with you on Dianetics from the current DVD set of how to use Dianetics. That's the video that me and Joni were randomly watching on her podcast. And that's what led to that call, that very, which is quite an interesting video. How to use Dianetics, as well as a sample of the beginning of the book attached. She did send that sample. There's a glossary at the back. Of course, there's a glossary at the back for any words you are not sure of. That's their MU, or misunderstood word tech, being applied there, where you don't want to give the listener a misunderstood word, or they might give up the whole subject, according to Scientology. You can get your copy of the Dianetics book with this link, where we can ship to any address you like. Again, I told her I was paranoid of giving the address, and they already have my address, is why I'm not intimidated by this. They know exactly where I live, and they have for since I started the channel. I included a copy of the bridge you were asking for about as a gift. Let's actually fucking see what the hell this thing is. I didn't see. Let's see if it's anything that you can't just automatically get off the internet. What in the hell is that? Okay. It's basically nothing. That's my fucking copy of the bridge. Oh, look at that. They want my email. They want my name. They want my street address. And they said that I can pay with PayPal. Motherfucker, did you not say this was a free? All right. I don't like Mary Jane as much anymore. She said that was freaking free. Okay. Well, that's one of the links that she sent over, but some of them were actually valid. So where were we at? Back to this email. Okay. So there's the bullshit link that she sent me to try to fish for my address again and get me to pay. God damn it, you're snaky, Mary Jane. Then these are the legitimate links, which I copied and pasted. She, like Mega said earlier, is going to send you some glossy videos, which are actually quite interesting. We'll go over some of them. So she sent me a Dianetics video, which is an introduction. This one says how the mind thinks. This one says prenatal experience. I'll show you a clip as to why you need to be silent during births and shit. That has to do with the engrams, or rather engrams, that we discussed over the phone call. Then she sent me an audiobook excerpts, The Goal of Man. Oh shit, man. God damn it. I just showed her fucking name. I'm going to have to edit that part out. So when you hear the video back, I mean, I don't have to, but I want to respect her privacy. So when you hear some of the video back, I'm going to clip that little piece right there. That's why I just went silent if you're listening on replay. So I look forward to hearing what you think. So this is at the bottom of the email. Hopefully you can see that. Again, who the hell is going to not be paranoid if they already weren't after she worked so hard to get me, on the hook? You can see here, she sent me the bridge logo. I'm not going to put their number. And again, I just fucked up on her name, so I'm going to cut that out. But her name's Mary Jane, and it says right here, probably can't read it. It says confidentiality notice. This email, any documents, files, and attachments accompanying this email, hereafter referred to as attachments, contain confidential information belonging to the sender, which is privileged. Well, thank God I'm the sender. Or I'm the benefactor. If you were not the intended recipient, I am indeed. You were hereby notified that any disclosure, copying, distribution, or the taking of any action, or putting this up on your YouTube channel, based on the contents of the email or accompanying attachments is prohibited. If you have received this transmission in error, please notify the sender immediately and promptly delete the message and any attachments for your computer system. Just to show you how brain dead these people really are. This sounds like a threat and a confidentiality agreement that you sign on a Scientology course or when you're going up to the OT levels. This is email world, Mary Jane. If you send it over to me and I'm the recipient, I do have permission to put it out there, despite their threats. Again, if they were not trying to talk me out of joining earlier, you got threat number 1, which I showed you the warning, don't open this email. We got the confidentiality notice because in the bubble world, we all have to follow their rules of confidentiality, not the real rules. And then you can see the tip of Mary Jane's head here, and she sent 3 attachments. And it says, again, I've never seen an email like this before, not once. Have you guys? So it says, downloading these attachments is disabled. This email has been identified as phishing. If you want to download these and you trust this message, oh, hell no, I don't. Click not spam and the banner above. So I'll then go to some of the links that she sent. But did you see those 3 threats in that email? And I trusted Mary Jane to send me over information. So even if I was interested, I feel a hell of a lot guilty after I feel like she's trying to fish for my, I gave her my real email address. They know where I live. I live 10 minutes away from Bridge Publications, maybe 15-minute drive. I don't give a shit, but damn, man. Shame on you, Mary Jane. Okay, so let me go over some of the links that she actually sent because they're kind of interesting. And again, if I wasn't terrified by that email or I didn't know that Dianetics was Scientology, I might take to some of these videos. Again, these are real quick clips. This is a forewarning to know that once you call Scientology, if you do get hooked, again, pretend you know nothing about it. Would these videos make sense to you? Would they cause you to maybe want to go down and check out the org? I'd really like to know.
Do you know someone who has never fully recovered from a serious loss in life? Or a traumatic experience? And in your own day-to-day life, do you sometimes experience self-doubts, negative thoughts, unreasonable fears?
Just wanted to say real quick, I'm not going to play this whole thing, but we're going in order. This is the first video that she sent, and it shows about what the engrams, i.e. the engrams, and how the reactive mind works. And she did indeed send over everything that we talked about. But here you get the first video, and you'll see how it follows in sequence, where it might actually make some sense if you don't know what the hell you're involved in.
Upsets or irrational behavior? The painful experiences of our past clearly have an effect upon our present behavior. But to what degree and why? What causes the mind to depart from rational thought or behavior? That is the subject of Dianetics. Every moment of your life, your mind is recording everything that's happening to you. Every sight, every sound, every taste, smell, pain, emotion.
Okay, without droning on, that's the reactive mind. They say moments of pain and unconsciousness are what's hampering your life before you're bait and switched onto the OT levels where you find out you're infested by beings. But until then, the state of clear, where your mind works like a computer, simply involves getting rid of engrams, the aforementioned moments of pain and unconsciousness that they're talking about in this video, and how they're installed. And then Dianetics processing allows you to revisit those and relieve them. So here's the next video that she sent me. I believe it has to do with why you need to be silent so you don't install engrams.
You might think that if you've never had an accident or trauma or surgery of any kind, that you have no engrams. This would be wonderful if it were true, but unfortunately, it's not. Just because you aren't aware of these incidents doesn't mean they don't exist. As a matter of fact, Dianetics has proven that the majority of engrams occur prior to 2 years of age. In fact, birth itself is an engram, and obviously one that everyone has. But the surprising thing is how many engrams are recorded prior to...
Can I just say one thing real quick? Did you hear where he says birth is
Birth.
hang on, that birth is the primary engram? That actually comes straight out of Aleister Crowley's works, where it was all about getting back to the birth engram, retrieving full memory of this life, and then going into past lives. That's just one example. I mean, seriously, 95% of Scientology is ripped off straight from Crowley, and that's where this birth engram, at least where Hubbard got it from. I'm not saying that that's not Freudian or someone didn't come up with it sooner, but that's how he got this brilliant idea, the idiot Hubbard.
Is how many engrams are recorded prior to birth. How is that possible? Well, engrams...
Take that back a little bit so you can hear it again after that rambling.
But the surprising thing is how many engrams are recorded prior to birth.
It's so hard to rewind this fucking thing.
In fact, birth itself is an engram, and obviously one that everyone has. But the surprising thing is how many engrams are recorded prior to birth. How is that possible? Well, engrams aren't memories as we think of them. They're recordings. In Dianetics, it's theorized that engrams are probably recorded in the cells themselves. After all, they're the things that get injured. In fact, the word engram is a medical term meaning a lasting trace on a cell.
We've covered where the word engram and all the words and shit that Hubbard stole in a video called L. Ron Hubbard, Maitreya or Magickian. If you really want to know the deep dive on where he stole all these terms. Engrams comes from a publication going all the way back to 1904, I believe.
Dianetics, we're only concerned with what works, and this is a workable theory. When cells divide and multiply, they pass on the recordings of all the engrams they've received, including those in the earliest stages of life. You see, an unborn child is not protected by fully formed bones yet, and the womb is a very tight space. So when something strikes him or presses against him too hard, his cells and organs are easily injured, and a prenatal engram is recorded. For example, if mama bumps into something, baby gets knocked unconscious. If mama sneezes, baby gets squashed. If papa becomes passionate, baby feels like he's in a washing machine. When mama gets morning sickness, baby gets an engram.
Mama gets morning sickness, baby gets engram. This is so corny in retrospect, but guys, this is my metaphysics growing up, and my pops, I believe, could read my mind, and when he told me about engrams, who am I at 9 years old to think any differently? But how ludicrous is this?
And so it goes. You could have many prenatal engrams, and each one can cause aberration. So you see, it's not so much what you have
said. You can have many prenatal engrams according to Scientology, particularly Crowley, again, what you stole from. Everything in birth is recorded. There's no scientific evidence to say that that's true. But if mom is having rough sex with dad, and this is covered in Hubbard's books, that can install engrams before you even pop out of the womb. So not dissimilar to the Christian faith, you're already a born sinner before you even fucking enter this world.
Done. But what has been done to you that causes your aberrations? And most of it happened to you before you were born.
Can you see how that leads into the past lives too? If all of this, if you agree with that and you think that recordings can happen in the womb and you contact him through Scientology's hypnotism / guided imagination, it's one step from there to going into past lives.
To you before you were born.
Since you guys found that so exciting, we'll go to Mary Jane's second offering in the way of this video. Now, this one is interesting. Remember how I told you guys that literally every single thing that Scientology does is covert hypnotism called something else, whether it's the choruses or the auditing. And one of the very first things Hubbard says in Dianetics is that we used hypnotism in our early days to understand the subconscious mind, but we unhypnotize people. And of course, as we know, Hubbard was a master hypnotist. So that's lie number one. That's really, if you go under in Scientology, which anybody can, as ludicrous as it looks, because I told you guys I fought it off for at least 9 years, maybe 10, before I finally took to it. It was the hypnosis highs that got me. And check out this propaganda lie bullshit where they say the exact opposite.
There is what is known as a post-hypnotic suggestion. An understanding of this can assist in understanding of the basic mechanism of insanity. The actions under both circumstances are not identical, but they are similar enough in their essence. A man is placed in a hypnotic trance by standard hypnotic technique or some hypnotic drug. The operator then may say to him, "When you awaken, there is something you must do. Whenever I touch my tie, you will remove your coat. When I let go of my tie, you will put on your coat. Now you will forget that I have told you to do this." The subject is then awakened. He is not consciously aware of the command.
This is literally describing exactly what happens in a Scientology and Dianetics session.
If told he had been given an order while asleep, he would resist the idea or shrug, but he would not know. The operator...
People often wonder, and I did too, why there was policy after policy to report back to Scientology. It's all about literally keeping you in that hypnotic trance state once it's been induced. This is why they send you endless mail. This is why they always make sure that you're on course. They have to maintain that trance that's first activated in the communication course, generally speaking, all the way up through a Scientologist career. I just wanted to say that Scientologists aren't necessarily dumb. They've had suggestions implanted into them, among other things, to report back to the org, to keep doing Scientology, that Hubbard's the greatest man that ever lived, that the tech works, that this is tech, etc., etc. You get the idea.
Then touches his tie. The subject may make some remark about its being too warm, and so take his coat off. The operator then releases his tie. The subject may remark that he is now cold and will put his coat back on. The operator then touches his tie. The subject may say that his coat has been to the tailor's, and with much conversation finally explain why he is taking it off, perhaps to see if the back seam had been sewn properly. The operator then releases his tie, and the subject says he is satisfied with the tailor and so replaces his coat. The operator may touch his tie many times, and each time receive action on the part of the subject. At last, the subject may become aware, from the expressions on people's faces, that something is wrong. He will not know what is wrong. He will not even know that the touching of the tie is the signal which makes him take off his coat. He will begin to grow uncomfortable. He may find fault with the operator's appearance and begin to criticize his clothing. He still does not know the tie is a signal. He will still react and remain in ignorance that there is some strange reason he must take off his coat. All he knows is that he is uncomfortable with his coat on whenever the tie is touched, uncomfortable with his coat off every time the tie is released.
All I knew is I'm uncomfortable if I didn't report back to Scientology, even though I knew it was ludicrous and freaky to explain to my friends. But there was always a part of my mind where I completely believed in Scientology, and another part that's going, this is ludicrous, but I can't stop.
These various actions are very important to an understanding of the reactive mind. Hypnotism is a laboratory tool. It is not used in Dianetic therapy, but it has served as a means of examining minds and getting their reactions.
Did you guys catch that? That should be a suable lie and false advertising right there, because that's exactly what Scientology is. So why can't you sue them for practicing hypnosis without a fucking license?
Understanding of the reactive mind. Hypnotism is a laboratory tool. It is not used in Dianetic therapy, but it has served as a means of examining minds and getting their reactions. There is some portion of the mind which is not in contact with the consciousness, but which contains data. It was the search for this portion of the mind which led to the resolution of the problem of insanity.
There you go. That's what Hubbard told us. It was a study in hypnotism, which he's an expert at, where Scientology is supposedly dehypnotizing you, and that's the whole of Scientology that's based on, and that's why it has the power that it has, even though it looks ludicrous from the outside.
Psychosomatic ills and other aberrations.
Okay, so one more final short video is, would you guys be taken in by this shit if you didn't know anything about it or not? Let me know in the comments and shit.
Now, it is a curious thing that although everybody knows, and what a horrible amount of misinformation that statement lets circulate, it is human to err. The sentient portion of the mind, which computes the answers to problems and which makes man man, is utterly incapable of error. This was a startling discovery when it was made, but it need not.
Okay, so this is what Dianetics is based on. Let me just explain this real quick, and this is what Mary Jane was trying to get across, and this is the whole philosophy of Scientology. Your mind as a computer, basically, to use a metaphor, and the body is a biological computer. So Hubbard was a psychopath and saw everybody as his appliances to be used around him. He thought that the world and Scientology would work by running like a computer program. In other words, if we remove critical thinking, we get the mind working perfectly, and we can get the person to walk the exact taped path out. He'll no longer have to think about what to do. He'll just do it. So that sounds psychotic, except under the guise, the way that's sold to you is, look, the mind works like a computer. The moments of pain and unconsciousness operate as errors. If you remove the errors, and the only reason humanity's fucked up and they do evil shit is because their computer, i.e. their brain, is not computing right. We remove the errors that have been installed, not least starting before you fucking jumped out of the womb with your mother having rough sex and putting in said engrams. If we can get rid of those errors, society will be cleared and everything will run perfectly. That's the theory of Dianetics and what they're rambling about here. Makes sense, right?
It could have been deduced sometime before, for it is quite simple and easy to understand. The actual computing ability of man is never in error, even in a very severely aberrated person. Observing the activity of such an aberrated person, one might thoughtlessly suppose that that person's computations were wrong. But that would be an observer error. Any person, aberrated or clear, computes perfectly on the data stored and perceived. Take any common calculating machine, and the mind is an exceptionally magnificent instrument, far, far superior to any machine it will invent for ages to come, and put a problem on it for solution. Multiply 7 times 1. It will answer properly 7. Now multiply 6 times 1, but continue to hold down the 7.
These are called held down sevens in Scientology. Using the computer analogy, those sevens that are being held down represent the engrams, i.e. the errors. Remove the held down sevens, and you suddenly have a brilliant human being. You guys are right. These things are so corny and so badly made. They're like late night infomercials.
6 times 1 is 6, but the answer you will get is 42. Continue to hold down 7 and put other problems on the machine. They are wrong, not as problems, but as answers. Now fix 7 so that it stays down no matter what keys are touched, and try to give the machine away. Nobody will want it, because obviously the machine is crazy.
We're almost done with this nonsense, and I'm going to show you a indie Scientologist response to this material.
It says 10 times 10 is 700. But is the calculating portion of the machine really wrong? Or is it merely being fed the wrong data? In the same way, the human mind being called upon to resolve problems of a magnitude and with enough variables to confound any mere calculating machine 1,000 times an hour, is prey to incorrect data. Incorrect data gets into the machine. The machine gives wrong answers. Incorrect data enters the human memory banks. The person reacts in an abnormal manner. Essentially, then, the problem of resolving aberration is the problem of finding a held-down 7.
Thank you for standing by for that lunacy and the infamous held-down sevens that only mean something in the world of Scientology, like all their bullshit nomenclature. You guys ever have that experience where when you stop listening to a particular band or style of music, or you leave a cult or a situation, it blows your mind that there's still people that believe in it and didn't leave with you or stop listening to the music that you that you used to like. Do you know what I'm saying? It always surprises me when we get comments like this where I never know if I'm being trolled or if this dude is serious, but I have met these freaky ass indie Scientologists, and they made a comment on the prank call video. And, these people are fucking serious, man. But listen to what this guy says. And also, there's new people coming in all the time. So they watch one video, and this jackass doesn't even realize I lost my family, my mind, my acting career, everything to this fucking cult. And he's still promoting it like, where it's just David Miscavige's fault. You just don't understand the tech. It's like, bro, watch the fucking channel a little bit more than just one video. And you'll know that I'm not just, prank calling someone. I grew up in this shit, you fucking jackass. Okay, anyway, so this is what the Jello program, nothing is safe here, Jello program. If you're going to put comments like this, man, you got to be willing to take it. So he says, I was going to follow this channel, but once I saw this video, and I seen the comments. This can't be a Scientologist. He's not speaking correctly. I seen the comments in this comment section. I'm disgusted by this take that you have of Scientology. Again, bro, I was born into it. Just because one group of Scientologists, the Church of Scientology, have done bad things, again, it's all Miscavige's fault, and are questionable, does not mean that everyone who believes in Scientology is the same. If you actually read these books, they really do go into the mind and how we analyze the world, how we analyze each other, how we analyze ourselves. That's clear enough, guys. You just saw that in the videos that we watched, right? This guy's not talking out of his ass. To sit there and lie and make a joke out of something that someone has done for over 20 years just for some views on YouTube is immature and childish. Again, bro, watch the fucking channel and see how stupid you fucking sound. These people have nothing to you. These people have done nothing to you. Oh, really? You're mocking what they believe. Again, this guy can't even spell sick. So I'm the sick individual, or Jello, or do you need to seriously look into the spell that you're under? And you might be the sicko. Here he is again, man. This dude is like spam the crap out of this. And all the, he also put this in all the responses and shit to try to detour people. Not going to work on this channel, sir. Not exactly sure why the lady, meaning Mary Jane, is laughing the entire time of this phone call when they're talking about the e-grams and trying to help people through trauma. If you actually dug into Scientology, you will find that it actually does help people. There's very good message behind Scientology. It tries to help this could be fucking Mary Jane, man, or one of her like people sent in or whatever to try to detract the comments or whatever. Stand by for a drink of water. But no, this is some real insight into indie Scientologists. These guys come around all the time, and they just don't realize how ludicrous they sound to people that have actually deprogrammed and looked into Scientology more than just pitching their tent at the indie route. Well, I don't agree with everything. A lot of things are metaphorical, and it just feels really strange that you're laughing when talking about this. If you thought it was such a joke, why even call? Just because you hear stories about Tom Cruise and money, not everyone is a part of the Church of Scientology. There are differences. For each loop, every Scientologist in the same group is ridiculous. Let me see if I can throw this down a little bit, and I might be missing some text. Okay, so that's it. There you go, a sneak peek into the indie Scientologist, what to expect should you call one up and know nothing about it, and the intimidating, threatening email where if you do open up the attachments that the cult sends over to you, you're probably going to have your entire computer crash. Anyways, that's it for tonight, I think, guys. I wanted to bust one more out, but it's getting kind of late, and we can hit it in the morning. We are doing a Q&A at 8 p.m. tomorrow, Monday, Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if you want to pick this up or answer any or go over any other questions. But let me take up some of the starred questions I have here, my friends, and then we will roll out of here. By the way, what time is it where you guys are at, and where are you at? It's going on 10 o'clock here in Los Angeles, and since half the listeners / watchers are from the U.S., I have a feeling most of these people are going to be from overseas or night owls who don't have to work on Monday morning. Okay, so let's go over some of these. Oh, hey, Michelle, how are you, man? Doug, my husband loved this video. Oh, thank you. And he never watches SPTV with me. Well, maybe he'll start watching now, right? That's cool. If you guys don't know, I'm going to link Michelle's YouTube channel in the description box, as she's part of this little community and breaks down MLMs, cults, etc. Has some really good content. Lorna, how are you doing? I had to drag myself away from a Saxon grave dig in Northamptonshire. I hope the video was worth it, and that's tough to compete with digging graves, but you can get back to it now. We've covered the gist of it. Japan, by the way, I added you as a mod if you want to do that. Some jackass. There's always troll emails that come in, and some dude named Johnny Good claimed that you were like censoring people because of religious beliefs or whatever. And then when I talked to him about it, he just scooted away and didn't respond back. So sorry about taking you off, Japan. I just have to be careful with the Goldie bullshit that happened. And I do trust that you won't censor anybody unless they're a troll to detract. Everything else stays. So Japan, thanks for modding, man, and you're back in the game, bro. I hope their response wasn't that bad. It wasn't too bad. You saw what it was. And then maybe we'll need to get Aaron's buddy on here too, because if things heat up, I would like to have a lawyer guy like, Aaron Smith Levin has to be able to consult with semi-regularly, particularly since we cover the law and cases and such. Doug, maybe my attorney friend, Zach Porridge, can help. U.S. suppressive person have to look out for each other. Hey, man, brother. Thank you, Aaron. If you want to have your buddy or you shoot me an email, dbnc, are you listening, Mary Jane? dbncdoug@gmail.com. And if he'd like to come on or help out in some of these videos and has the expertise to do so, that would be fucking awesome, man. Thank you, Aaron. How you doing, my friend? Hello from chilly New England. Hello from lovely Los Angeles, California. A few more before we roll out, my friends. How are you doing? Hi, Doug. Of my good sir. I had no idea it's been like 18 years since you've seen your mom, dad, and sister. It's actually been, I think, 15 years since I got out of the cult. So I woke up in January 2008, 18. So that's 15 years that I've been out. I stopped speaking with my parents about 2 years out. That's when I really kind of had the nerve to tell them I'm leaving the cult. I hate it and I want to rescue you. They then cut off contact where I could only talk to them via email here and there if it was something having to do with business related. Otherwise, I haven't had contact with my parents up until recently for, I don't know, well over a decade. I really appreciate your words there, my friend, too, because it's been kind of tough. My dad passed in March of this year. He was an OT8. We never got to resolve things. My mom and me have been able to talk for the first time in fucking like 15 or 12 years or however many it's been. We email back and forth and we're gently creating a relationship. She's really hurting because Pops is gone. I miss him too. It sucks that we never got to resolve that. And I'm very thankful for however many moments I get left with my mom to just not talk about Scientology because she's too old to deal with that trauma on top of what's happened to dad. It's just really nice to have her in my life. And she does seem to have changed a bit and had what I call a state of grace. She seems a lot softer than I knew her. So I'll take that for however long I can get it. Fucking sucks, man. This is what happens in Scientology families, man. We would have had such a different life if this asshole didn't come into our life. I always imagine what would it have been like if my dad just didn't read that fucking Dianetics ad that one day. I mean, that was going to determine everybody's life in a very, very deep way. Michelle, how are you doing again, man? Doug, after watching this play out, I had to go back and watch the video of all your Hollywood clips. Oh, awesome. I think I only have one up there. It's like my little acting reel. Damn, you're good. Maybe this year. Hey, thanks, Michelle. It's actually kind of embarrassing. I didn't get to put anything on tape when I felt like I really got good at acting because I was basically just snapping out of Scientology when I really started to get, professional work coming in. And then we've already talked about it before, so I won't bore you with all the details. But when I snapped out of it, my life was about to change dramatically. And I pulled away professionally on purpose, and I used the trauma in my acting class, which I had to go to work through this without killing myself, my parents, or blowing up a Scientology building. And the whole time I'm thinking, as soon as I deprogram and get rid of this trauma, which this acting is helping out big time, then I can go lay down something on film, because it was like really the deprogramming where I was like, fuck, man, I can actually use these emotions at least I can get something good out of it. It's making me a hell of a lot better actor than anything I put on film, but we never got to see that. But who knows? Maybe I'll be going back into it. I don't know. I'm sort of in a transition period. Thank you for that, Michelle. Philosophy, how you doing? Doug, does Mary Jane sound programmed as I'm having trouble hearing it? She sounds quite natural and less scripted than I thought. Yeah, she's totally programmed, Philosophy. Like she's saying word for word about the handlings to give me. For example, when I make the weed quip, she immediately goes into, we have the answer for drugs pamphlet that I'm going to send over to you. Everything that I said, she had the correct handling for. Now that's pre-programmed, but she is a natural because she had her TRs in, just because they're, she was very, very good. You can tell, in my opinion, that she's a true believer. And she, even though she's repeating back program responses, like any Scientologist that's been trained properly on the communication course, you can see she can deliver it very naturally. She was sweet and she was convincing, in my opinion. And she sounded very intelligent, Scientologists are not dumb, not least because we go through intense training on how to look up every word and this and that. What we believe may be inaccurate, but they train you within an inch of your life to kind of know words and how to be able to speak well. This is why, by the way, that indie Scientologist that I just read from, it's so hard to peel this thing apart once you get programmed, and why there's so many indie Scientologists, even in the X community, because they claim that the communication course and the training routines, etc., are the good part of Scientology, and then it gets bad when you fall into it, not realizing that those put you in the trance that set you up for everything else to come. So that's, they can be very intelligent sounding, but they can also believe fucking crazy shit, obviously. So Philosophy, I think any and every person could join a cult given the right conditions. Scientology is very advanced in their tech. What do you guys think? You think you wouldn't be susceptible? I mean, obviously, maybe not to that, but what about other aspects? I think so too, Philosophy, but man, do people get bent out of shape on that? Because no one likes to think that they could ever fall for something like that. And I got to tell you, my friends, cults, the number one people that they look for and that works to capture them are the people that know that it can't happen to them. And the people that are skeptical, they're less likely to fall in. That is a fact. I feel like I need to find the reference to that. But I've read that over and over in psychology books and books that break down mind control when I was trying to understand that. And I do believe that's true. So, are Scientologists allowed to have sex when pregnant? Yes? Or is this an engram? I'm not trying to be rude. No, that's a good question, Philosophy. In fact, we're going to do it tonight, but probably tomorrow. I'm going to show you a clip from Scientologist Catherine Bell, who's an actress and also is married, has been in a lesbian relationship for many, many years. I'll be able to jump into this a little bit more, but sexually speaking, Scientologists are repressed. We covered that in the interview with Marilyn the other day. Super repressed. The partners would be concerned about having their baby get engrams, so they only do missionary style, I would imagine. And the reason I bring up Catherine Bell is because before she becomes released and is allowed to be who she really is, I'm going to show you a clip where she's talking on Howard Stern, of all people, where it's nothing but sex, and you're going to see her ideas and how sexually repressed and how non-exciting, or whatever you want to use, sex is. So yeah, Scientologists in general have horrible sex lives, not least because of the implants that are put into their brains about sex, and it's extensive in the cult. Chow, how you doing, man? And thanks for modding. I really appreciate it. Wait, I can get licensed to do hypnosis? I want to be a licensed hypnotist. Yeah, anybody. Well, yeah, you can. I was going to say anybody can get licensed. You obviously have to pass the qualifications. But that's the whole reason Hubbard couldn't set up licensed hypnosis clinics, because then he wouldn't have a scam, which is completely illegal, by the way, my friends. Maybe if we can get that Zach guy on. One of the questions I have him is, can Scientology be tried for you practicing hypnosis without a license? Since that's how the whole trap actually works. Minus that hypnosis aspect, Scientology wouldn't exist, in my opinion. All the things that the government wishes it could be. How do you know the government isn't using these techniques? Where do you think Hubbard got his inspiration from? That goes back to what Philosophy was talking about earlier. people go, I'd never fall for that. But then they have a rigid belief on a particular political party, the left-right divide, or they watch the hypnosis machine called the television, which is nothing but programming 24/7. We're fucking surrounded by this shit, man. And that's the huge revelation I had coming out of the cult, is never be so sure about your beliefs or what you think can happen to you. Because just speaking from personal experience, once you go through something that seems so real while being under the spell in Scientology, and then you get out, it only took me a couple of years to suss many different areas in society when this was happening. And when someone says to me, I could never get caught in a fake belief system, it's like, how can you not popping out of the womb in this world? Again, those are the people most likely to actually fall into a cult, and that cults look for, even though they'll kick and scream and say that that's not true. One more before we roll out, my friends. So, Vonnie, the entire education, here we have a smart cookie, education system is based on brainwashing, making control workers that they pay money to be brainwashed for abuse, just like Scientology. The education system is designed to get people to work, buy, consume, die, and think about nothing else. Exactly. I would agree with you, Vonnie. That was another thing that I noticed in Scientology, and going back through my whole history and memories of just growing up, because I was a public Scientologist, so I went to public schools. I didn't sign the billion-year contract in the Sea Org, but it didn't take me too long to realize that the education system is a primer to set you up in general to be a non-critical thinking, passive person in society where you don't question too much. So you get the state's version of everything. You can't question what you're being taught. And if you break down the schooling system, the hours that they keep you in, the fluorescent lights, the endless droning of irrelevant data that goes into your brain or whatever, you do need to learn how to spell, and there's basics, obviously, that you could probably knock out in a couple years of education. But how many people don't remember 90% of their history and all the other bullshit that they were taught? I never going to use trigonometry, even though I got up to that in school. I would say that the education system is a huge, huge primer to set up the society in general, generally speaking, to be mind-controlled zombies, not dissimilar at all to Scientology, maybe just on a lesser scale. I guess it's appropriate then to end with the New World Order outro. My friends, I might bust one out later tonight, but that sounded bad. I might bust a nut later tonight. No, I might bust out a video later tonight. Get your head out of the gutters, guys. But I don't know if anybody's going to be up late. If not, we'll hit the Catherine Bell one in the morning. If you want to join us 8 p.m. tomorrow night, we can hang out. I don't have to do presentations. We could just chill out, smoke some weed or drink some beers and answer some questions. So thank you for joining us. And as always, stay safe, stay sane, and most definitely, if you can, try to stay cult free.
Physical labor and intense ideological study are used to break the subject's will. So is that the truth?